What up, all my fight fans? Crazy breaking news that we have. It happened Saturday night with that Jamal Hill and Cleo Roundtree fight. Not too bad of a fight. Wish it would have been a little bit better, but Cleo Roundtree got the victory. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about the retirement of Jon Jones. I'm sure the whole world is talking about this fight. Oh, not this fight. This guy, the Jon Jones. Excuse me, the Spider, the GOAT, the one of the, what many people will call is the GOAT, the greatest of all time. He retired, according to Dana White. And now Tom Aspinall is the heavyweight champion of the world. Undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. I mean, what do we got to say about that, guys? It's very frustrating, honestly. I mean, I'm just like you guys. I wanted to see this fight happen. I really wanted to see Tom Aspinall versus Jon Jones. I really wanted to see this fight transpire and to see who was going to be one of the greatest in heavyweight today. Not saying greatest of all time. See, that's the thing that I think Jon Jones was so confused with. He's always going to be one of the greatest fighters of all time. You cannot knock his skills. Whatever scandals he had outside of the cage, whatever steroids he may have taken, his skill level, you cannot knock. You cannot knock his technique. You can't knock out his ability. You can't knock out anything the guy had. He was truly one of the greatest mixed martial artists of all time. That would have been with a win, lose, or draw. And I do not know why he felt so strongly that if he were to lose or get knocked out, that it was going to diminish his record or diminish his legacy. It was never going to do that. I don't know 100% that that's what he was afraid of, but I feel deep in my heart that's what he was afraid of. He was never afraid of Tom Aspinall. He was afraid of losing. He was afraid of the potential of him actually getting knocked out. And, you know, honestly, I cannot necessarily blame him because at the end of the day, Jon Jones was always so used to being all advantages on his side. He was all used to being the guy with everything going for him, where he was the biggest, he was the strongest, he was the most skilled, he was the youngest, he had the better resume, he was the fastest. He always had those really on all his side throughout the light heavyweights. And now he's in heavyweight. It's a little bit of a different story because we all know there's younger guys, there's bigger guys, there's stronger guys, there's guys with a better resume within the division. So there's so much. And that's what Tom Aspinall had. He was bigger. He was stronger. He was younger. That was the biggest important one. He was younger. I believe Tom Aspinall is in his early 30s or late 20s. I can't exactly know what his age is just yet, but I know that's what it is right now. Jon Jones is in his 37, 38 years old, where Tom Aspinall is, again, much, much more younger. So you got Tom Aspinall, who is bigger, of course, in the heavyweights. He is stronger for sure. He is has the resume, the better resume in the heavyweight division for sure. So there was just a lot more going for Tom Aspinall going into this fight. And I just don't know if Jon Jones really, really, truly wanted this fight. You know, and it was just very unfortunate because I'm not saying if he were to fight Stipe, if this was back in November and he did fight Stipe and he did beat him and he did knock him out and he retired right then and there, I guess that would have been like, all right, we didn't get the fight that we wanted, but you know what? You had a great career. You did what you got to do. You became a 2-division champion right after the sunset. Good luck to you. But no, instead, we are waiting over and over and over again. We're waiting months and months to find out what's going to be next. Who is he going to fight? When is he going to fight? You know, what's going to happen? And no answer, no answer, no answer. And finally, he decides, he's like, you know what? I'm just not going to do it. I'm just not going to fight. You know, even after he asks for a massive amount of money to fight Tom Aspinall, and the UFC decides to give it to him, he still says no. You know, I'm sure he had in contracts that he wanted certain things on his side. I'm sure the UFC would have gave it to him 100% because, yes, he is the A side. Tom Aspinall is the B side. So why not fight? But at the end of the day, Jon Jones felt like he just did not want to do it. He has his reasons. We can all speculate on why he did not want to do it, why he chose not to fight. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I wish I had the answers. I wish Jon Jones would do some kind of interview and let everybody know, but I don't think that's ever really going to happen. Jon Jones decided to retire instead of fighting Tom Aspinall. And will it hurt his legacy? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think he's still going to be considered one of the greatest of all times. My personal opinion, I don't consider him the GOAT just due to the steroids scandal. And this might hurt it a little bit because he was able to fight Ciryl Gane, who wasn't a great wrestler, not even much of a wrestler in general. We saw what happened to him against Francis Ngannou, who was not even a wrestler himself. So there was really no fear there. And we got Stipe Miocic, who was such a much more older fighter and had not had fought in probably, I think, 4 years, I want to say. And his last fight was against Francis Ngannou, which where he got knocked out. So those are his 2 fights in heavyweight. And that's not speaking a lot. I think I would have much more appreciated Jon Jones at heavyweight if he would have decided to go up to heavyweight much earlier on in his career. Like, instead of fighting guys like Anthony Smith, Thiago Santos, Dominic Reyes, I wish he would have went up to heavyweight. That was back, I want to say, in 2018, 2019, maybe a little earlier than that. I would have really loved to see him go up in heavyweight. Back when you had Stipe still doing the thing, still really, really good. You had DC still really, really good. You had a few guys in there like Overeem. I think Cain Velasquez was still making a little noise. Junior Dos Santos. I mean, those would have been massive, massive paydays, massive fights to see Jon Jones go against. But now Jon Jones went up into the era of heavyweights where there really wasn't or isn't much heavyweights. So it's hard to say how great he really was at heavyweight. We cannot knock him at light heavyweight. Light heavyweight, he did the damn thing. He went up against everybody. Everybody from DC to Gustafsson to Shogun to Machida to Rampage to Evans. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on and on. He knocked out, tapped out, and decisioned a lot of these guys, so you cannot take that away from him. Yes, there is steroids involved. Yes, there is some outside cage shenanigans that he got involved with. But at the end of the day, his skills spoke for themselves. His talent spoke for themselves. Everything, you cannot knock his greatness at light heavyweight. To me, he is by far, hands down, the greatest light heavyweight champion of all time. As far as being a GOAT, not quite sure. Not quite sure. But it's unfortunate. Jon Jones did retire, and the next is, we don't know what might happen. Maybe he decides to come out. Maybe he decides. Who knows? Who knows? But until then, he retired, and all we got to say is the best luck to the champion of the world, the undisputed champion of the world, Tom Aspinall. So guys, like, subscribe, hit that notification, and let me know what you guys think about what's going to be next for Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall. Peace out.